Now I got a request to do a lower body warm-up from Marcello. Marcello is a subscriber that found this channel by a podcast that I did with Matt from Red Delta Project. Now I'm going to leave a link to Matt's channel in the description. He's a very experienced personal trainer who leaves a ton of useful training tips on his channel, especially if you're into calisthenics. Now the hip joint has the same susceptibility for injury as your shoulder joint does, because it also can move in multiple planes. And it's not the only joint on the lower body that can do that, as your ankle joint also can move in multiple directions. And if you're going to squat in your lower body workout, then you need to include the spine as a joint that moves in multiple directions and needs to be warmed up. So we're going to start our warm-ups with the spine, with the goal of engaging the muscles and removing any stiffness that we may find in the back. Now the first exercise that I chose to start our warm-up with is called the cat-cow. Now to do this exercise, and it's actually a really good exercise to help improve posture as well. Now to do this exercise, you need to get down on your hands and knees with your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. And then when you inhale, you drop your stomach down and you raise your gaze up toward the ceiling. Then once you're in that position, you reverse the position by exhaling and curling your head down and rounding your back into the cat position. And then we will do this and all of the warm-up exercises for one set of 10 repetitions. The next exercise we are going to do is called the bent knee iron cross. And this is a great exercise for both your lumbar and thoracic spine mobility. It also really helps relieve the tension and pressure that can be caused from low back pain. Now the way you do this exercise is you lay down on your back on the floor with your arms straight out by your sides. Then you bend your knees and you raise your feet up off the floor. Then you take your bent knees and you lay them down to the one side of your body till they come right down and hit the floor. And then you bring them back up and you lay your knees down onto the floor on the other side. And you do this for 10 slow and controlled repetitions. So from here, we're going to move on to the muscles around the hip to get them activated and remove any stiffness that we may have in this region. And the first exercise we are going to do is a glute bridge. Now to do this exercise, you have to get back down on the floor and lie on your back. And you bend your knees, but this time you keep your feet flat on the floor. And you pull your heels back as close to your butt as you can get them. And you have your arms straight out to your sides. And then you raise up your hip while squeezing your glutes. Now you want to raise your hips up high enough that you're in a bit of a hyperextended position. This way you're not only activating your glutes, but you're also getting a bit of a stretch in your hip flexors. Following this, we are going to do an X-band walk. So to do this exercise, you remain standing and you put your feet kind of shoulder width apart. And you take a band and you put it under both feet. Then you cross this band over in front of you, making the X shape. Now the tighter you pull the band, the more resistance you're going to have for this exercise. So then what you do is once you've got the resistance you want, then you take 10 small steps each direction, and you should really feel this exercise in your abductor muscles. Now, I'm not done with the hip warm-up yet, but for the next exercise, I want to drop down to our ankle, and I want to do an ankle mobility exercise. So in order to do this exercise, again, you need to remain standing, and you'll stand facing a wall. You'll put your hands up against the wall, and you'll put one foot in front of the other, and then you'll bend your knee, slowly putting your knee closer to the wall, with your foot about 6 to 8 inches away from the wall. And as you bend your knee toward the wall, make sure your heel remains down on the ground, and you'll do this for 10 times on each ankle, and this will help to lubricate the ankle and remove any stiffness that may be there. The last area we haven't addressed yet is our adductor muscles, and to prepare these, we are going to do lateral squats. So to do a lateral squat, you have to spread your legs fairly wide, kind of like you're going to do a sumo squat, and then you shift your weight over the one leg and bend your knee, kind of like you're preparing to do a lateral lunge. Then you lower your body down in the squat position, moving your hips back and making sure your knee stays over your toes. And then you raise back up and shift your weight over to the other side and repeat. The key point here with these exercises is we are trying to prepare our joints and remove any stiffness that we may have. What we are not trying to do is establish a new range of motion. Any mobility work we may want to do or any stretching we may want to do to increase our range of motion should be done after our workout or on a separate day. So this is Lawrence from Fit and 50 signing out. Keep working out healthy so we can keep having fun, and we will talk to you again in that next video.